What's up, everyone? We actually had a pretty good day in the stock market as the momentum just continued on. Looking at the S&P 500 intraday, we started off strong with a nice gap up, sold off a little bit in like the afternoon and early morning, but by the end of the day, Tom, the buyers just came right back in. And if we look at the heat map of the market overall, multiple different industries ended up doing pretty decent today.
Yeah, they really did. The heat map doesn't look as positive as I think some of like my watch list looks and stuff like that, because there was a little bit of, downwards movement out of the banks, obviously, as they're still trying to digest some of that bad news. But a lot of the bigger stocks in the market, like Tesla, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Apple, generally did pretty well. Google actually was down slightly, so we did have some slight mixing into the market today. But for the most part, stocks did pretty well. And I saw a lot of breakouts across key stocks like Microsoft, Apple, Tesla had a fantastic move up today as well, almost getting back up to around that $200 resistance. We might even test it tomorrow morning if we're lucky. And the China stocks had an insane explosion this morning. NEO had a huge run up, and Baba, JD, Queb, Baidu, all of the rest followed along as well.
Yeah, very, very true. And the China stocks have just been seeing like so much of the momentum and just money flow into them, especially compared to so many other areas of the market right now. So if you guys have not been watching stocks like NIO or BABA or JD or PDD or any stock like that over like the past week, definitely keep them on your watch list. They are definitely among the most volatile stocks in the market right now.
Yeah, they really are. And we're seeing some insane movement back to the upside. And I think that this really comes with that good news earlier in the week. Baba is splitting off into 6 different groups, it looks like. And then it just seems like a Jack Ma came back to China out of nowhere, as it looks like Beijing is starting to help some of the private firms and stuff like that. So I don't know. It sounds great. They're loosening regulations over there. So that is fantastic news for the China stocks. But Mike, I think that there's actually something going on in the market tomorrow morning that I think a lot of traders are sleeping on right now. And that is going to be the big PCE data set to release. So this is huge data. It pretty much shows where a lot of the money's going in the economy. And it's going to be a huge reading for inflation in the morning. Like I said, it shows where a lot of the money's going into multiple different sectors and different stuff like that into the economy. So keep your eyes on these numbers tomorrow. If they end up coming out around the forecast and expectations, the market might not do much, kind of like today with the GDP numbers. Didn't really do too much. But tomorrow, I think the PCE will hit a little bit harder, because I feel like the Feds are really looking at the way, money's being spent right now.
Alrighty. On a different note, though, out of nowhere, Boeing stock started blasting to the upside today in a pretty big way. So, Tom, what's the news behind this? Because I know there was a ton of volume that came in, and I know a lot of traders definitely have their eyes on this one.
Yeah, so this was a huge intraday move here. Boeing is holding up above 200 in a huge, huge way, and they're actually looking to have some production increases with their 737 Maxes. So apparently they're doing 31 jets per month right now, and they're looking to have production rates above that very soon, the head of their commercial airplanes business said. So I don't know, Mike, it sounds pretty weird. They said very soon. They didn't really give like a exact number, but it sounds like they're trying to increase production on that, which is fantastic. It'll just generate more revenue for them faster as those get bought up, obviously. And I'm sure they have a lot of contracts going as well right now. But the thing that really made me happy with this is that Boeing's been having a lot of problems over the past few years. The 737 MAX jet had a crash over in Ethiopia. There's also been a few other issues with this jet over the past few years. And what made me really happy is this statement right here. They said, we have a handful, less than a handful left to go with the FAA. We're working a few issues around those submittals. I want them to be perfect. I want the FAA to feel comfortable and to give them the time to go review. This is awesome because they're not going to push anything out, and they're not going to risk another problem like they've been having in the past year. So that really helped their price action today. I love that news, Mike. And on that daily chart, Boeing is starting to test some of those recent highs up there. And we have to watch out for 220 over the next couple weeks.
True that. And Boeing is just one of those stocks where it's like when it has like true momentum and like true volume flowing into it, it really is a powerhouse. But other times it's like if the volume's not there and if like the momentum's just mediocre, then you just see, bland movement, right? But it's like when it has momentum, it's awesome. And, maybe the current news can lead to further momentum. We'll have to see. But either way, keep this one on your watch list.
Yeah, that was a lot of big movement there intraday. And, just talking about big movement intraday today, Mike, there was a lot of stocks running all across the board. And I will say one of my favorite ones today was actually gold. So this is actually going to be one of my favorite setups on the day, Mike. GLD. I feel like I didn't hear many people talking about metals today, but I feel like if GLD can break above that 184.50 resistance from today, then we could maybe start to see more bullish momentum tomorrow, especially with all these stocks and everything running up. It's very nice to see gold and silver following along.
Perfect. Yeah, gold and silver have been pretty strong lately, so I'll also keep that one on my radar. But Tom, I can't I can't skip over those China stocks given how much momentum they have. So I'm actually looking at KWEB. This is essentially an ETF of a bunch of China stocks all in one. Like we said, a couple minutes ago, the China stocks have more momentum right now than basically any other area of the market. So for tomorrow and even next week, all these China stocks, but especially KWEB, will be on my watch list to the upside.
Yeah, this is awesome. I mean, these China stocks are getting some awesome momentum back. They have great news this week, so I don't blame you, Mike. I'll be watching them as well. Even like BABA, NEO, XPEV, some of those smaller stocks too. I'll keep them on the radar. But going into some of the big American stocks today, I'm actually going to be watching Netflix. So they had a pretty big move up, but I will say Netflix is starting to run up quite a bit here recently, and they are getting a little bit overextended. Obviously, if the market continues up tomorrow, I'm going to watch for Netflix to go ahead and break out up above 340. That was a pretty big intraday resistance, multiple hits right there. But in the event of a market pullback, especially with all these big moves up recently, if we start falling under the low of day, right around 335.40, I'm going to go ahead and look at some puts to the downside. I really like this one in either direction, and I am honestly leaning to the upside. It seems like every morning lately, Netflix has a huge move up at open. Like, look at some of these opens I'm circling here with Netflix over the past 4 to 5 days. It's just perfect green candles, and it's mostly there at open, like I said. So keep your eyes on it for the first 30 minutes or so.
All right, good stuff. Another stock I'm watching is CCL, Carnival Cruise Line. So basically CCL is very, very close to, I think, like 30-year lows. So this stock has been just, it's been brutal over the past couple of years, especially, to say the least. But right now, CCL is at a major support right around this $10 level. And it also has a lot of support around like even $8 and $6. And the good thing is that over the past couple of months, this stock has been making higher lows, which is normally a bullish sign. And we're also seeing some decent momentum flow into just like other cruise and airline stocks as well. Plus CCL just reported earnings, so we might see like a post-earnings runner. So into tomorrow and even into next week, this one's definitely on my watch list to the upside.
Yeah, I love this stock. Look, whether it's airlines, Boeing, CCL, RCL, like anything with travel right now, I'm sure even like EXPE or Expedia right now is probably doing very well. Is also, yeah, you can see this one is up too. So I love these types of stocks, Mike. We always have watched these over the past few years, obviously, and I'm definitely going to keep it on the radar for the next couple weeks with this big momentum coming up here. But what a day it was, Mike. I mean, I will say I'm going to really be watching your Queb play because those China stocks are really blasting.
You know it. Well, with that being said, let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have NIO to the upside.
Yeah, talking about China stocks here, go ahead and make them break out above $10.75. If you want to be really safe tomorrow, make that be your breakout. If you want to get a little bit more risky and get in a little bit early on maybe a early morning run up, make them break out above 10.50. But like I said, it might pay off to be a little safer and make them break that high of day.
All right. With the next one, we have XLF to the downside.
XLF, yeah, bad move down today, obviously, here. There's actually a pretty big support forming right around 31.60. So if we end up falling below there, I'll watch for some puts.
Sounds good. And with the last one, we have Apple, and we need both directions.
AAPL, I will say this one had a very big close with Microsoft. If we end up running up above 162.50, watch for some continuation up to the upside tomorrow morning. If we end up falling down under this intraday low there midday around 161.30, go ahead and watch for a push lower.
Sounds good. So we have Apple for both directions, as Tom said. Keep that upside level in mind for a potential day trade up, and that downside level in mind for potential day trade down. And then don't forget about XLF with that potential downside move and level as well. And then don't forget about NIO with that potential upside level and move too. But with that being said, it is now time for the big money $3.3 million trade of the day. So we are looking at PBR. So this is essentially a Brazilian state-owned petroleum company. PBR has had some wild swings in the past. And basically what we're seeing right now is someone dumped around $3.3 million into the 9 strike call options that expire on July 21st of 2023. So looking at PBR, the stock is very volatile. Right now it's bouncing off a pretty big support right around like $10 to even $9.50. What I do like about this setup is that it kind of does whatever it wants. This stock does not really move with the market, and that's a good thing in this environment. So I do like that. At the same time, the setup is pretty unique, I guess you can say. Like when you're trading, state-owned Brazilian petroleum companies, it's just, it's a little bit different than, trading like Apple or something like that.
Yeah, it definitely is. But I will say that's quite a bit of money in there. 3.3 million, that's a lot. And for it to only be out to July, it's honestly not too far away at this point, only about 3 to 3.5 months. So keep your eyes on this. I think PBR could end up being an awesome one. I like some of these supports down here around 10 and 950, like you mentioned. Those are some pretty nice bounces. And I would think short term, we, maybe with a bit of a safer move, could maybe come up and test maybe 1150 to 12. So I like this play, Mike. And like you said, it's a state-owned oil company, but at the same time, it's like, I'm just like, man, like whenever you see like oil stocks and everything right now, they're all blasting up. Like even USO had a huge move up recently.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure. So definitely keep PBR close on your watch list over the next couple weeks. $3.3 million is nothing to ignore. But if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. When you subscribe, you'll see our videos recommended to you more often. But Tom, we have one more trading day left in the week. We've seen some pretty decent movement this week. Do you have any final thoughts or anything else that's on your mind?
Yeah, all I can say, Mike, is, hey, look at this. We had another green day. We've been talking about this trend line time and time again lately. What do? We had another key bounce back to the upside. And yesterday, we even broke a shorter term trend line to the upside as well. So we're getting a nice continuation. We're holding well up above 400. We had that big move up end of day. I'm pretty happy with how this week has went so far. I'm hoping that we can get some big fireworks tomorrow to end the week. Maybe another move to the upside. I don't know though, Mike. We've already had so much amazing movement this week. I don't know if we could have another big explosion without a bit of a pullback or something like that coming in. So that's kind of why I gave both sides on the Netflix play, because it's just, I'm a little bit worried with how overextended we are. But man, like whenever the market gets good momentum, it definitely comes in hot like we've been seeing.
You know it. All right. Well, we're excited for tomorrow. You guys should be too. We're set for a lot of good movement. Last but not least, we want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, Outlaw Star, in the YouTube comments. You've been commenting on like every video longer than Tom and I can remember. You're also super positive and super consistent. So huge shout out to you. Thank you so much for everything. Besides that, guys, let's have an amazing end to the week.